Last week, a film called Blonde came out on Wednesday. A biography depicting the life and tragedies of Marilyn Monroe. Ana de Armas plays Marilyn Monroe in the biopic, and according to Ana de Armas herself, she wanted to approach this role with the utmost respect for the late performer. She took her dedication to the next level when Ana de Armas visited Marilyn Monroe's grave. I'm not gonna lie, from what I've been hearing about this movie, it is going to be one of those cultural phenomena productions, but at the same time, it won't be comfortable to watch. The stuff that the movie is going to portray in depth is what gave it the NC-17 rating to begin with. I can definitely see why Ana de Armas visited Marilyn Monroe's grave. This is what Ana de Armas had to say about this. We got this big card and everyone in the crew wrote a message for her. Then we went to the cemetery and placed it on her grave. We were asking for permission in a way. Everyone felt a huge responsibility and we were very aware of the side of the story we were going to tell. The story of Norma Jean, the person behind this character, Marilyn Monroe. Who was she really? Based on Ana de Armas' account, here is what I think. I think that her comment is self-explanatory, which means that there isn't really much else for me to say as a male individual that is, never going to really comprehend or deal with what women in the film industry have had to endure because of some rich assholes. Nor do I think that I should be commenting with phrases like, oh, Blonde is unnecessary because it is unsettling. Because, of course, it is going to be sad to watch. Of course, it is going to be unsettling. That's how it is meant to be. It isn't meant to be an exciting film. And the thing is, this is also one of those things where it's like, if you're uncomfortable with X or Y being shown, from the way I see it, I think that's the best time to reflect on how Marilyn Monroe felt, which is 100 times worse than how we might feel watching it, being portrayed with a creative license. This is an actual true story. No matter how much this movie is dramatized or accurate, it's based on a true story. Considering that Ana de Armas is playing Marilyn Monroe and mirroring her demeanors, her words, body language, her experiences, and pouring all of that talent into one pot of a movie. I think what Ana de Armas did was right, I suppose, in a way that she knew how to honor the Marilyn Monroe character. There are some characters where it isn't a big deal if you're playing them, and that's because you're doing a job. The job is what you are contracted and employed for to begin with. You either do it or not get paid. But I do think that real life figures like Marilyn Monroe should be taken with extra sensitivity and consideration, especially when it boils down to the direction of what the Blonde film wants to be. Speaking of which, what direction does the Blonde film want to be exactly? Is it supposed to be inspiring? Is Blonde meant to be just an accurate depiction of the stuff that Marilyn Monroe had to deal with as a movie star? I'm going to refrain from using the precise terminologies here since this podcast is being uploaded to sensitive platforms. But still, it really makes you think. What is Blonde trying to be? At the time that this is being recorded, I think that the closest thing that I can find to the answer of this question of what Blonde is trying to be is Vanity Fair's review of the Blonde film. There are some early reviews that call out the irony of Blonde. And you know what? I just want to quickly read what Vanity Fair has to say about the movie. I'm going to quote, Blonde is boldly and complexly mounted, but that technique, so brazenly applied by Dominic, could actually be in service of something far simpler and more base. Blonde, and this is where I think we should read closely, is a film partly about exploitation that might be exploitative itself, if the film is aware of that meta function, then there's something interesting happening in it. If not, and Dominic thinks he is genuinely ennobling Monroe and expressing some kind of radical pity for her, then Blonde is a little perverse. I'm reading Vanity's review as someone who hasn't viewed the movie yet, as of right now. I need to give that decision some careful thought, especially if I were to, let's say, review it in a future podcast episode or just see it by myself and not review it at all, which is probably the best thing to do. But who knows? I might consider it, I might review it next week, or I might not even bring it up again. Anything could change, really. But the bottom line is, perhaps Vanity Fair might be right in one thing, if nothing else. Blonde, in a way, could be a paradox. If Blonde is trying to be a film addressing exploitation of a certain character, what is stopping it from being exploitative itself? Especially if certain scenes, which I've heard is going to involve the relationship with Marilyn Monroe and JFK, will be shown at great length. Anyhow, that is all I have to say in regards to Blonde, and Ana de Armas paying a visit to Marilyn Monroe's grave and why she done it. What do you guys think now that you've heard this? If you've watched Blonde, which is now streaming on Netflix, what do you think of the movie overall? Would you recommend that I, as a movie pundit, watch it? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below, and our Cinema Courtroom Twitter inbox at Cinema Courtroom.